the worst thing is probably that they put a timer on it. And then there's a timer going, and if that timer goes to 0, all your files will be deleted. So, hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Surfshark Wave podcast. This is very exciting not only because it's the first episode, but because I also have a very special guest with me today. Introduce yourself, please.
So yes, my name is Liudvikas. I am a team lead of our Windows applications team.
What I found interesting about you is that your work experience also includes you working at NASA as an intern. You also worked in the aviation industry.
Yes, that is very true. And first experience real world was at NASA.
It sounds like it's something like out of the movie, because me, myself, I'm extremely passionate about all the NASA missions. I watched all the documentaries and all that.
I went there for an internship during my studies at the university, and I have an engineering diploma, electronics engineering. So I went there to do some project regarding electronics engineering. We used renewable resources to make certain kind of apparatus for polar traveler to make, so they be able to make water out of ice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I made the apparatus, the data logging equipment, and
that sounds fascinating.
And that prototype flown to Antarctica.
Cool.
To be tested. So
I just mentioned how you also worked in the aviation industry. So how did that come about?
I was always interested in aviation, maybe because my father used to work there. I think he was the one who dragged me into this, and I went to work for an air navigation services provider. So and I think it was very, very, very good experience to see what's happening behind the curtains.
So how does a person like you go, from NASA to aviation industry, and what happened in your career at that point where you said, I want to stop this, I just want to try something new?
Programming was always in the background, and reached a point in my career that, I thought that I need to grow faster and to improve much more, and thus I chose to get involved in programming full-time.
Okay. Why did you choose Windows app development specifically? Why not Android or iOS or Mac OS? Why specifically Windows?
I started my more serious software development career from Windows, since there was a need from my then current company to develop some tools for the staff.
So you were kind of pushed to do it, in a way? So it was required, so it's I'm going to do it?
No, I actually saw an opportunity and just grabbed it.
Okay. Now, what I find interesting about your career specifically in this company, in Surfshark, is that, usually people who work in those big positions like yours, like team lead, head of this, head of that, they usually gather experience from other companies, and they already join that new company as head of that specific department. So what's the secret behind you jumping through positions so quickly and going up to where you are now?
Well, it's a combination of multiple factors. I think first is determination, just knowing what I actually want and where I want to be. But on the other hand, there are creating value and showing to the people around you that you bring something more to the table, and you can push yourself, the team, and the product forward. So I think by, again, prioritizing things in my everyday life, I managed to strike a pretty good balance in growth and pushing myself and the team forward.
So you like to inspire people in your team around you?
Well, I like leading by example. I'm not much an inspirer or whatnot. Just showing by working hard and by motivating others, I can we all can reach big goals and score big results.
I think that's really important. I mean, it really changes the mood quite a bit when you're working with people who are hard workers. Recently, we made a video. It was What's New in Surfshark episode for January. And in the video, we talk about how the Surfshark app on all platforms completely changed in 2021. And obviously, one of the biggest reasons for that was Surfshark One launch. And that was huge for you guys. Yes. And we'll talk about that later in the show as well. But I wanted to hear your perspective on the history of our app, how it changed, and the features we added, and all in between.
Well, when I joined, our focus was on VPN exclusively, and we were like a VPN company, and we've moved on from that image. And then, bit by bit, by like observing what's happening in the world, and well, we needed to grow to become more of a full-fledged privacy and security suite rather than going only
Just being a VPN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we decided to make Surfshark One as a package of four products that we do, and the last one to come in was antivirus.
Oh yeah. So antivirus. Just how excited it was to jump into the world of antivirus.
It was very like daunting at first, since like there are those players who are in this industry for
Since the beginning. Really.
Yes, yeah, actually since the beginning of like the internet, or yeah. So it was daunting at first, but when we started and first results, well, we've created something and we were able to show some results. Then then we got into this. Let's push and let's create something that our customers would enjoy using.
So let's talk about viruses. And what's scary to me is that, okay, maybe catching a virus isn't as easy as it used to be back in 1990s, early 2000s. But the viruses themselves, like if you do catch them, it's extremely scary. Like one of the viruses that scare me, the living bejesus out of me, is it's the ransomware one. Mm-hmm. Because it's for those of you who don't know, ransomware, if you catch it on your computer or on your phone, it will encrypt. Is it all files?
It might be all files. It might be selected files. Well, it depends on the the creator of the ransomware.
Yeah, so it might encrypt your photos, your music, your documents, whatever, and then this message will pop up, and it will ask you to send money, like big sum, to maybe a crypto address or I don't know, PayPal. I'm not sure, like something that's not super traceable. And what's the worst thing is that they put a timer on it, and there's like timer going, and if that timer goes to 0, all your files will be deleted. So yeah, like I said, maybe it's not easy to catch a virus, but if you do catch one like ransomware, it's game over. Like for me, who has like tons of family photos or works-related documents on their devices. But maybe you have some of the viruses that are also just as scary as this one.
Well, ransomware viruses scare me a lot as well. Well, other viruses are like, most of them are used to create botnets. And
what is a botnet?
Well, it's like a network of computers used to start and propagate denial of service attacks.
Okay, so DDoS attacks.
Yes, DDoS. Well, this is basically why the botnets are used. Another use for botnet is like mining cryptocurrency.
So let me get this straight. So they're going to use your computer to attack a service of some kind, or a website, or they can use it to mine crypto. So that's also not good. And especially if you have like a gaming computer with an amazing graphics card or something like that, you don't want that to be mining crypto for someone. Let me see. Here's a question from one of your colleagues.
Okay.
How are viruses made? And what kind of programming language is used to create them?
Well, viruses are programs just like any other, but they are created to solve like a figurative problem of a hacker or some sort of malicious actor. And well, mainly they are created with lower level programming languages. Lower level meaning not that they are worse or something, but they are just closer to the hardware.
Okay.
Meaning like C, C++, Go recently. So I think these are the main tools to make good virus.
And also, I guess, building on that question is, could you yourself write a virus?
Well, I think I could.
Okay.
But I don't think I would.
Okay. We thank you for it. The world is a safer place. And today most antiviruses use AI to quickly detect malware, but do you think that AI could start making malware and viruses?
It's a very likely proposition. I think.
You think it could happen?
I think it could. Yes. Since you would have to create an AI to do that, but it's possible.
Okay. Now, I spoke with Nick, one of our system engineers, and one of the things that he said is that, and I thought I would bring this up to you, he said that Windows is the easiest platform to get hacked on. And I was wondering, maybe you want to rebuttal that?
Yeah, I think it's the easiest platform to hack.
Why is that? Because we don't really hear too many words about like viruses on Linux or Mac OS, but Windows gets this rep all the time. It's like it's the one that you're going to get hacked most. It's the one that's unsafest.
I think it happens because there are many more users of Windows machines rather than Linux or Mac, and hackers try to I think they are rational people, and they are trying to get the most out of as little as possible. So meaning like they put in least work and they can attack many devices. So I think that's why, and historically it's been going like this, just targeting the largest audience and trying and seeing what works.
Now, from a Windows app developer point of view, just how good is Windows 11, and have you tried it yet?
Spoiler alert, it's Windows 10 with a new wrapper on it. It looks nice, and
it does look nice.
It looks more up to date, but I kind of like the Windows flat design. I mean, of the Windows 10.
They added rounded corners everywhere now.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they're trying to copy someone, but they might be.
Not gonna mention who.
Yes. So, but I think it's a step in the right direction, and it looks visually nice. And,
it really does.
Works well.
But there's some things that just definitely annoy me about Windows 11. It's like they changed the context menu. When you right-click something, they give you less options now. And you have to click an extra button to get more options. And there's also, by default, the start menu is in the middle, which just drove me nuts. I just had to change it immediately. It was the first thing I changed.
But you can customize it.
Oh yeah, that's the good thing. That's the good thing about Windows. You can completely change it. Hell, if you're one of those viewers who really likes Windows XP and you're still running it, hey, you can go crazy. You can install a theme or something. That's the thing about Windows. You can just customize it however you want. For me, what Windows 11 did right was a lot of the gaming features that they have and the HDR and all that. So that part is good, but some parts not so well. And building on that question, what is the biggest thing that annoys you about Windows?
Well, I think it's the like historical parts of Windows are still there.
Like the registry, yeah.
The registry is like one of the foundation blocks of Windows, but meaning all the different tools and bits and pieces that are. I think the same used to be in Windows 7, and now they're in Windows 11.
Which sounds unbelievable, but for me, I think it's the control panel. We still have the control panel. It's not fully integrated into the actual settings. Like when we work with video production here on our YouTube channel, sometimes we have to work with microphones, and the microphone settings are in the control panel. They're not in the settings, sound settings in the Windows. So that annoys me.
Yeah, this kind of duality where you have settings, but you still have the control panel that does same things as settings and then some. Yeah, it's like a sign that...
Is it fair to say that that's really a programmer's nightmare, just working through legacy versions? Do you think they will ever just step out of that eventually? Or do you think that all these legacy systems are just built into the core of it and you just cannot take it out?
I think it is very difficult to massively change something because I don't know what the size of the code base for Windows is, but I'd assume it's like millions of lines. So just to changing things is pretty difficult for them, I think.
Windows does have antivirus built in already. So I just wanted to ask you just sort of, is it enough to have just a built-in antivirus? And do you really need to step it up just a notch to get to something better?
Well, if you want to be very secure and feel much safer on the internet, I'd recommend using a third-party antivirus.
Such as Surfshark One.
Such as Surfshark One, exactly. And this is because, well, we have much newer and our virus databases are updated much more often. So we can catch the newest viruses and the newest malware.
And that's fair to assume because, I mean, when Microsoft it's a large company. It has so many different things that go in for it. And I think it does make sense where there's a company that focuses on one thing. You know, they have a dedicated team and all that. So it does make sense. And also, I feel like, built-in antiviruses, they don't have many features compared to the ones that, can be offered commercially. And I guess now it's probably a good time to talk about some of the community questions and user questions that we have. The Windows app is not perfect. And I'm just wondering how hard and stressful is it to fix some of the issues that do come up to our app?
I wouldn't say it's stressful, but it requires us to go back and to review and revisit things, which sometimes might be difficult to, but we manage.
Okay. And I come from a customer success background, and one of the things that always came up, and I was curious about, and we spoke many times about it as well, is about the bypasser feature, which you could probably agree it did have some issues from time to time. What's the story behind the bypasser feature? And I know you mentioned one time that it requires some really deep, low-level programming.
Yes, it does, and well, to be completely honest with you, we do not have people to do that, but we're trying to improve it with our current resources. So that's why it's not perfect, but we're looking into improving it this year, I think.
And it's a very intricate feature. There's not many VPNs have it, at all. It's in the industry. And I guess it's probably a good time to also say that we are looking for Windows developers.
Yes.
Who could help us make this feature as good as possible.
That is very true.
And another one I wanted to ask you about was the kill switch, because recently there was a lot of confusion within our Surfshark Reddit community about how exactly kill switch works on Windows. So maybe you could address what changed exactly within the recent updates.
Yeah, sure. So, well, we went from a hard kill switch approach to a soft one, meaning that currently we activate the kill switch on basically when the connection starts. And only if the connection drops without your input, then only then the kill switch is active and it stops your internet traffic. But if you click on disconnect, then the kill switch is deactivated. You will not be protected, but that was your choice by clicking disconnect.
So that is the soft solution?
That is the soft solution, yes.
Okay. And will there be an option maybe to set up a hard versus soft solution?
Well, I think we have plans for this, and I think we'll do it this year.
Oh, okay.
And I think, everyone's use cases will be served.
Oh, yeah. And that's probably another thing to mention about Surfshark apps in general is that I like how you can customize every part of the connection. Your kill switch, your auto connect, your protocol. There's so many things you can customize to maybe most users is probably not something they were going to bother with, but for those super privacy conscious users who care about their connection, I think they're going to be amazed, how many options we have. And I guess this is also a good question to address is if people are having issues, what is the best way to to help users improve the app?
Well, I can see two ways. One of them is to contact support, and if you have issues, try to solve those issues. And if you have ideas, they would relay it to us. And we always read things by our customers. Another way is to join our subreddit on Reddit and post your ideas there.
Oh, yeah. People are very vocal on the subreddit on Surfshark. So big shout out to our subreddit. We love you guys. Okay. what would be some of your recommendations for upcoming developers? Maybe you can recommend a specific language to study or start studying on.
Do not attach yourself to any particular language and try to learn how to solve problems. Just exercise your brain and try to learn as much as possible. And no technology is bad technology, and you have to eventually you will become language agnostic, and you will be able to solve problems in like pseudocode, and that's, I think, where you'd like to go.
Okay, and is learning a new programming language is kind of like learning a new, like, real language? Is it why it's called a programming language?
It has similarities since you have to learn punctuation and vocabulary.
I remember punctuation in programming.
But on the other hand, it's different because you like have programming languages are used to express ideas, algorithms in a readable way. So I think they are more like specialized languages. And not like a general purpose language as we use to speak.
Okay. Now let's talk about the situation that is very close to us, literally, and it's the situation that's going on right now in Ukraine. First of all, I want to address and give my condolences to anyone who's affected by this. And what's going on right now there is absolutely terrible, not just because of what's going on, but also in the cyber world as well. There's been reports of Ukraine government websites and state security services being down due to DDoS attacks, and that believed to have originated from Russia. So I just wanted to hear your point of view about just how dangerous are these cyber attacks that are happening against Ukraine?
Well, they are dangerous in a sense that, websites can be hacked or taken offline, and misinformation might be spread, or information might not reach people that it needs to. So I think that's...
So they can be manipulated.
Yes.
Like if you shut down a news website, it can be literally changing how people think about the situation.
Yeah, and I think it's a big part in what's happening. The information war is a very powerful thing, and you need to be aware of this.
Yeah, terrible situation, but hopefully things get better. And I guess with all these attacks in mind, how crucial is it to use a VPN today in your everyday life with all of this going on?
The cyber attacks are increasing every day, and you have to try to make the life of the bad actors as difficult as possible, so you wouldn't be blocked from trustworthy news sources and other things that
sort of like change your opinion from the right one. Now, I recently read an interview with a cybersec expert. You know, they were asked, what is the one tip that you would give to someone in the whole world to improve their online security? And they said it would be to enable 2FA for literally anyone, two-factor authentication. Do you agree that two-factor authentication is the best form of security? And do you have any other tips you could share?
I think it's very important to enable 2FA where you can, and most of the websites and services allow that and encourage that, actually. Yes, so another thing would be to change your password regularly, and maybe even try to use password managers to create passwords that are like
impossible to just guess.
Hundreds of characters length, so they would be
extremely secure.
It would be extremely difficult to crack them. And of course, another line of defense is 2FA. And if the password gets leaked somewhere, then you still have the 2FA to secure you.
And that's, I guess, a good time to say that if you are concerned about any of your passwords that are leaking anywhere, you need to use Surfshark Alert to really know each database. You'll be notified when a database does, leak and is exposed, so you can change your password as soon as possible. And we are actually nearing to the end of the show. And what are you doing right after this podcast? Is there something you're working on right now that you could share as well?
Yes, we're working on antivirus and pushing like hell and trying to.
I saw your Slack status bar, and I saw it's like eating Surfshark 1 for breakfast.
No, eating other ones for breakfast.
Oh, other one? Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
It's a big project, and it's still going on.
it is a big project, and we.
And my
we're
question is, if
pushing
you could have one product out of Surfshark 1, see what I did there?
Yes.
Which one would it be?
It's a difficult question. Well, my baby is the antivirus, but I think
You're biased towards that.
I know I have this love to the VPN part, and I just cannot and would not let it go. So I think it's the VPN, but I love antivirus as well.
Okay, okay. I would pick a VPN as well. It's just, there's so many features that a VPN can offer. It's just, I use it every day. Anyway, so that's it. That's the first episode of the Surfshark Wave podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed, please give it a like. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. There's many more episodes coming out, and that's going to be it from me and Liudvikas. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.